Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Interweb Studios and today we will learn what is the worst thing to find on someone else's phone. With that out of the way, sit back and enjoy. Not me, but a bartender friend of mine found a phone unlocked on the bar and couldn't locate its owner, so he punched in his own phone number and found out he was already in the contacts as Creepy J. Did this once, used a friend's phone to call mine so I could locate it. My number was saved under No Taki. I was side dish, and I thought we were falling in love. Found texts from my GF's secret lover. This was in the early 2000s, when phones were still super primitive. Her phone had that Snake game on it, and mine didn't, so I would occasionally use her phone to play Snake. The game would get interrupted if someone texted though. And sure enough, while I was playing, her secret lover texted her. I saw it, and then couldn't help myself and had to read the rest of the texts between them. Absolutely crushed me. Mild compared to a lot of other people's stuff posted here, I know. It doesn't have to be much to hurt. Borrowed my ex's phone once, and while I was using it, a dude texted her saying how much he missed her and couldn't wait to get her in bed again. That was like 13 years ago, but I still remember exactly how hard it hit me. I've had it happen twice. First time I was 21. My then girlfriend had been using my laptop, so when I went on it and opened up Facebook, it was still logged into her account and the conversation between her and the guy she was ducking popped up immediately. Second time I was 29. My then fiancé left her Gmail logged in. I went to what I was expecting to be my Google Photos, and immediately there's extremely graphic photos of her and one of the guys she'd been ducking. This happened 3 weeks after we'd booked the wedding photographer, and we just bought a house together as well. Pretty sure that one actually gave me some form of PTSD. Honestly, there is no feeling quite like it. It's been a year since that second incident and I still don't think I've fully recovered. My ex-wife's. Found a recipe for potato salad with raisins in it. I understand why you two divorced just from that recipe. Dude came to the job site to complain. Asks the number for the supervisor, and when he pulls out his phone, his screensaver is a guy holding a huge dick. I don't know if it was his own, or someone else's, but damn. His screensaver. How bold, lol. Power move. Videos of my then husband descending into madness. He had gotten a traumatic brain injury, after which he took loads of videos of him going crazy. Last one, he was covered in vomit arguing with his reflection and had no idea it was him. 100% do not suggest watching someone you love like that. Trauma. Sounds like he recorded this intentionally to chronicle what he already suspected was happening. I'm sure. It was scary. He cried a lot and was confused. Forgot about our baby. It was watching him die. An old friend of mine called me frantically requesting I come to his house because he needed a witness. He feared his then wife was about to call cops and accuse him of domestic violence. I could hear her in the background screaming, "Jose, don't believe him." I don't live close, but I was concerned and drove over. They live in a cul-de-sac and I could hear the screaming before I got in the door. When I opened the door, he was at the top of the stairs trying to explain she is crazy. She was trying to explain that my friend is a pervert. So, of course, my immediate thought was he must have been caught ducking around. Well, to my shock and disappointment, she managed to yank the phone from him and she immediately started scrolling to pictures. She had to show me to convince me that my buddy I have known for over a decade is a pervert. She showed a dick pic. I was like, gross, but okay. He started yelling, that isn't me. Which made me even more uncomfortable because now my buddy is admitting to receiving dick pics. No. He had taken the picture and had sent it to his wife's coworker's daughter. She was 12. I had always believed that had I ever confronted a child predator, that I would duck him up. I didn't. Instead, I made sure his wife was able to call the cops without him trying to stop her. The end. Damn, I came here to hear stories of infidelity. But learn some people are ducking monsters. You saw the raisin potato salad too, huh? That one hit me right in my soul. How could someone commit such a heinous act? When I was 21, I was dorming with my best friend. We had become best friends in high school, and this was our senior year of college. So we had been living together for 3.5 years at school. Call it 7 years of best friendship. One weekend, after a night of drinking with my girlfriend and her 2 roommates, we returned to the dorm and he went to shower. He kept getting text after text from some random number, no name in contacts, so only the digits popping up. I finally went over to silence the phone and it was my girlfriend's number. We had been together 3 years at that point. My roommate, best friend, was also super close with her. I never would have thought it was suspicious if she had been texting him. But the fact that he had removed her as a contact so her name wouldn't pop up? So shady. Honestly though, I had a few drinks and was tired, so just put it out of mind and went to sleep. Next day I'm hanging with the girlfriend, and she goes to shower. I decide to look at their text messages, basically feeling like a controlling asshole going through her phone, but I figured better to assuage my fears than let some silly suspicion take up space in my brain. You guessed it. Some very graphic texts about them ducking while I was at class, away from campus, etc. My stomach fell out of my asshole. Proud of myself for how I handled it though. I confronted her in her dorm hallway as she was coming back from her shower. Cussed her out something fierce as she kept trying to hush me up and get me out of the hall so she wouldn't be embarrassed. I then texted my best friend, marched right over to where he was studying. She must have texted and warned him because when I got there he just stood up and walked out of the building. I cussed him out something fierce as well, and walked away. As I was going to my sister's dorm, to have a real good cry now that I had confronted those 2 assholes, I get a text from my now ex-girlfriend. Saying she was so sorry, but would I please mind not telling anyone about what I found out, as it would be super embarrassing for her? I'm an open book, and I was emotionally devastated. So guess what? Everyone knew what happened. I lost my best friend of 7 years, my girlfriend of 3 years, and a whole lot of mutual friends who decided to overlook what they did and be neutral. But I also had a lot of people stand up for me and cut those 2 out of their lives. I learned which of my friends were just surface level, and which people I could truly rely on to be honest, moral, dependable, etc. Without a doubt one of the worst times in my life. Rebuilding after that was brutal. But I wouldn't change a thing. I learned and grew so much. Approximately 8 years later and I have a wife, a home, a career, 4 pets. I have done tons of work to improve my mental health in the wake of that miserable paradigm shift, and I am honestly happy. I'm genuinely grateful it happened, because if they never decided to try to duck on me, or worse, if I just never caught them, I probably would have ended up married to that psychopath and spending all my time and energy hanging around with the selfish asshole, best friend, instead of filling my life with all the amazing people and things I have now. Found a video on my boyfriend's phone in high school of him and his friends stomping a litter of raccoons one by one, making the others roll in the gore. It was one of the most wicked things I've seen someone do. Promptly broke up after that. The first time I took my dog a new groomer, I was about to pull up an older picture of what I wanted my dog to look like. I made sure that the picture to show her was the first picture in my photos. Well, I guess I accidentally took a screenshot the night before and didn't realize it because the first picture wasn't my dog. It was Lena Paul in one of her films. Right on cue, the groomer said, "I'm not going to cut your dog like that." I was so embarrassed and planned on never going back there. But she was such a great groomer that I can't stop going, despite wanting to bury my face in the sand every time I see her. Before we were dating, my girlfriend showed me a conversation from Tinder with a guy who wanted to pay to touch, sniff her feet. She never actually met up with him, but would kinda string him along a bit because the messages were funny to read. Anyway, I scrolled down just a little and he said something like, "1K to sniff your butthole." A WhatsApp group with the title, "Without my name." Since this blew up so much I will tell the story. So I was at party and this out of some reason a guy had this girl's phone unlocked and showed it to me. He was excluded too, by the way. No, they were not planning my birthday, they just met. I saw the chats. They weren't really close friends, but still hurts to be excluded. Found my teenage daughter's in-process application to attend the University of Oklahoma. You okay, mate? Absolutely disgusting. Oklahoma? I used to own a small tech support business. A client's adult son passed away, OD, and they asked me to see if I could get into his phone as they didn't have the PW. I managed to guess it and got in, and it was just a litany of a sad life. Lots of text messages between him and his drug dealer and between him and obvious prostitutes setting up meetings. I went back and forth on whether or not I should even tell the customer I was able to get into the phone. I even considered just wiping anything that might implicate him. I've been friends with his parents for over a decade at the time. I even asked a few people on Reddit's opinion about the ethics of it, and pretty much everyone came down on the side of it not being my job to shield his parents from anything. So I just gave them the phone back and told them the password. Spaghetti. It's like someone dumped a whole plate on top of it. A block of ice. This guy was trying to cool his phone down. He had a lifeguard phone case and was convinced the phone was watertight. He also did not believe in condensation. My best friend had been dating a girl. One day I had his phone as I was fixing it for him. I was a bit of an entrepreneur. Maybe not guy in school, I always was fixing things, selling stuff and so on. Anyway, after I fixed the screen on his phone and camera, I went through some motions on his phone to make sure the screen still worked. I took a photo and then went to photos and saw everything was good. I accidentally swiped again and saw a video. He used to make lots of parkour videos back in the day, so I assumed it was one of those. It wasn't, it was a video of him forcing himself onto his girlfriend, and there were loads. All of them she looked like she was crying in the brief snapshots I saw of them. I deleted them all off his phone and told him I had to wipe his phone because of some stupid reason. He was really angry and asked if he could get his videos back. His girlfriend at the time suddenly looked really relieved and quickly ran away. He stood there for a moment before turning to me and asked if I wiped his phone on purpose. I said I did. I saw and that we are no longer friends. Turns out he used those videos to control her. I never considered myself to be tough or strong, but I felt quite proud at the time. Part of me wishes I'd hit him, but I think I saved someone maybe? We never spoke again. He moved schools as I think he was afraid I'd tell people. Edit. I'd like to say I should have contacted the police and made sure I had her consent. I'm also not saying what I did back then was the right course at all. I was a teenager, not an excuse at all, but I certainly didn't handle it how it should have been handled. Edit 2. Okay, I'm getting a lot of messages about this story being fake. I helped the criminal out. Didn't really expect this much of a reaction. I was a teenager with zero clue how to respond to something like this. She never reported it or ever said anything. If I had reported it would have been with her consent. Maybe she did report it later on when she was ready to. I have no clue what it would be like to be in her situation or any rape victim situation, but I can't imagine how embarrassed or what emotions would be involved if you were not ready for something like that to come out. Also, you're free to believe what you want to believe. We are strangers on the internet. With that, I hope you enjoyed video. I have to admit this video was quite jarring and most of this Reddit feed was the exact same story but with a different twist. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment any weird things you have seen on other people's phone, and with that. Until next time, toodles.